Welcome back to Just Podding Around. I'm Reese, and today we're diving into one of the most legendary and criminally underrated pay-per-views of all time, AAA's When Worlds Collide from 1994. Now, if you've never seen it, this was the show that first cracked open Lucha Libre for mainstream US wrestling fans, or worldwide wrestling fans. For a lot of people, this was the very first taste of Rey Mysterio Jr., Psychosis, Eddie Guerrero, and that whole wave of high-flying insanity that would take over WCW. This wasn't just a wrestling card, this was culture, this was emotion, and honestly, it was history being made in real time. The date was November 6, 1994. The place, the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. 13,000 fans, mostly Latino, packed the place. On paper, it was a joint production between AAA out of Mexico and WCW. But make no mistake, this was AAA's show. WCW just handled the production. This was also the US pay-per-view debut for Lucha Libre. Most American fans at the time had no idea Lucha was outside of masked wrestlers in Mexico. This event blew the doors off that stereotype. Fun fact, this was also Mike Tenay's first gig as a wrestling commentator. Yeah, the professor himself made a debut right here. Let's run through the matches quickly and then we'll talk highlights. The opener, Mascarita Sagrada and Octagon Tito beat Espectorito and Dorito Estrada in a mini Estrada tag match. Fast, fun, a perfect way to warm up the crowd. Next, Fuerza Guerrera, Psychosis and Madonna's boyfriend, yes, that was his gimmick, beat Heavy Metal, Latin Lover and a babyface Rey Mysterio Jr. Then we had the International Six-Man tag, Too Cold Scorpio, Crispin White as Texas Kid, and Tito Santana defeated La Parca, Blue Panther, and Jerry Estrada. Total chaos. The semi-main was Octagon and El Hijo del Santo versus Eddie Guerrero and Art Bar. La Pareja del Terra. Mask versus hair. Classic lucha stipulation. We'll talk about this in a second. And the main event was Perro Aguayo versus Conan inside a steel cage. Bloody, brutal, everything you'd expect from two guys who genuinely hated each other in storyline. The match everyone remembers, the one that people still talk about, was Octagon and El Hijo del Santo against Eddie Guerrero and Art Bar. The stakes were huge. Octagon and Santo put their masks on the line, while Eddie and Art put their hair on the line. And if you know Lucha, you know how serious that is. This wasn't just a match, it was a storyline at its absolute best. Guerrero and Bar were the perfect villains, smug, taunting, even mocking immigrants as they walked out. The crowd was nuclear. They took the first fall. Santo and Octagon took the second, and the third, things got dirty. Illegal pole drivers, interference, desperation. But in the end, Santo pinned Art Bar. And as per tradition, Eddie and Art had to shave their heads right there in the ring. It was emotional, it was raw, and it was the last match Art Bar would ever wrestle. 17 days later, he passed away. That makes this bout even more iconic and heartbreaking. The cage match between Conan and Perro Aguayo was pure violence. These two had been feuding forever in Mexico, and the LA crowd was eating it up. There was blood, there was weapons, even outside interference. Conan had been AAA's top star, but Aguayo got the big win. The fans loved it. It felt like the perfect way to close the night. Now, there's some fun backstage stuff with this show too. WCW, being the producers, trimmed a lot. Matches that were originally supposed to be 2 out of 3 falls, they cut them down to 1 fall to save time. AAA wasn't happy about that, but they did fight to keep the semi-main tag as the 3-fall structure. Also, funny side note, ECW eventually actually sued WCW over the name When Worlds Collide, because they'd used it earlier the same year. The settlement, WCW agreed to send Steve Austin, Brian Pillman, and Kevin Sullivan to work at an ECW show. Wrestling is wild, man. Critics loved this show. Dave Meltzer gave the tag match 5 stars. John Molinaro called it the best pay-per-view ever, and honestly, they went wrong. For US fans, this was the first glimpse of what Lucha Libre could actually be. The crowd reactions, the speed, the drama, it all felt different from WWE or WCW. And the impact? Massive. This show put Rey Mysterio Jr., Psychosis, Eddie Guerrero, and Conan on WCW's radar. Within a couple of years, they were all in WCW, tearing it up with the Cruiserweight division. From there, Lucha became a permanent part of mainstream American wrestling. So, how does When Worlds Collide hold up today? Honestly, it's still incredible. The production is very WCW 1994, so expect some cheesy graphics, but the wrestling, it's timeless. The semi-main tag is still one of the best matches you'll ever see. It's emotional, it's historic, and it's a reminder of how wrestling at its best crosses cultures and connects with people on a deep level. If you've never watched it, go find it. WWE even put it on the network years ago, calling it the best pay-per-view you've never seen. They were right. That's going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this dive into AAA's When Worlds Collide, hit follow, leave a review, and let me know what classic shows you want me to cover next. I'm Race, and until next time, keep loving wrestling and keep those worlds colliding.